Okay, so hi everyone, my name's Alex, and this is my, I think, fourth tutorial video in basic chemistry. And for this video, I'm just going to be explaining the periodic table and just like what it does, the different section on it, who created it. He was a Russian scientist, I believe. And this is going to be part one, since there's quite a few groups. I think there's 7 or 8 groups within the periodic table. I'm just going to explain the first, I think, 3 in this tutorial. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing first is what is it? So I'll begin with who created it. So who created it was a Russian chemist named Dmitry Mendeleev, that's what I like to say, and is known as the initial creator and organizer of the table, as the table organizes 112 elements, such as copper, lithium, what else? Kind of a think, silver, gold, whatnot, and it classifies them according to the elements, increasing individual atomic number, and it also classifies them with their relatable chemical properties, so how well they fare under pressure, what reactions they make when they heat up, when they get cold, and it bunches them together if they have the same sort of chemical reactions. So the atomic number is below the element in the periodic table and is the number of protons the element contains. The mass number is on the top and is the total number of protons and neutrons added together. So, and also another thing to remember is that you can work out the number of protons of the atom or element by subtracting the atomic number from the mass number. So there's 35 neutrons in the copper, and since its mass number is 64 and the atomic number is 25, so you do 64 minus 29, which equals 35. So you just do the mass number minus the atomic number. So, and there's also 1 to 7 groups, but group 0, right on the right, is counted as noble gases. Group 1, I believe, is alkali metals. Let's start this. So basic, just alkali metals. So there's, how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is there? So there's lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, and francium. They all end in and the group is also called Group IA in capital, and are very, very reactive. They have very high chemical reactions together, and that's why they're all put together, because all of them are very reactive elements. So the alkali metals are located on the left of the periodic table, but also don't count the hydrogen as an alkali metal, as it's not. Since hydrogen only has 1 proton and 1 neutron, or whatnot, it only has 1 proton, it has to be at the top, because it has the smallest amount of protons and neutrons possible out of all of the elements. So the next slide, alkaline earth metals. So the alkaline earth metals include beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. They are silver coloured and soft and have low melting and boiling points. And this is quite interesting because apart from the alkalines just described, you would have thought that they would be the exact same as the alkalines before. But no, they've got low melting and boiling points to compare to the ones, the alkali metals, such as lithium and sodium, because they react really quickly, really easily, and quite explosive as well. What's the one? I think potassium oxide, potassium dioxide. That's really explosive, or potassium peroxide or something. Now these have really low melting and boiling points, and they're also silver. And on the right, you can see a picture of beryllium. As you can see, the periodic table name, and it's silver, and it looks soft as well. And if you look on the picture above, there they are located in group 2, I believe, of the periodic table, and then all of these to the right to zinc here, where it says 30, these are all transition metals, and I'm not going to name them all, I'm just going to name a few, because there's probably about 28 of them there. So transition metals, so there are quite a lot of transition metals, so I'll just talk about a few. These include scandium with the periodic table initial as Sc, iridium Ir, nickel Ni, and iron, copper, silver, and gold. The transition metals are separated into, I wouldn't say groups 2 and 3, I would say columns, not columns, rows. So you got one column there where C next to Ca, then you got another column where Sr is, another column where Ba is, and another column where Ra is. This is just because there's quite a lot of them. So the transition metals, so there's quite a few of them. They are quite less reactive than the alkali metals. They have higher densities and extremely good conductors of heat and electricity. Things like copper wires are used in electric cables, and coppers are used for a lot of things. So they're really good conductors of heat and electricity, so they're extremely important. Iron is used in building materials and vehicles, and nickel is used for coins, like the 5p coins. And I think that's is that a picture of nickel, I think? Yeah, I think it is. And then that's it. So to go over it again, it's basic. So what is it? A Russian chemist named Dmitry Mendeleev created the periodic table and organized the 112 elements according to their increasing atomic numbers. That's why hydrogen is right at the top and on the top left of the periodic table, because it has the lowest atomic number, whereas the number on the bottom right most likely has the highest atomic number. The atomic number is below the element in the periodic table and is the number of protons. So the atomic number is the number of protons, the mass number is on top of the element, and is the total number of protons and neutrons added together. And you can also work out the number of neutrons by subtracting the atomic number from the mass number. So for copper it would be 64 minus 29, which equals 35. So that means there are 35 neutrons within copper. And then there are 1 to 7 groups, but there's group 0 on the right, which counts as noble gases. So alkali metals extremely reactive, including lithium, sodium and potassium. They're on the left of the periodic table. The alkali metals are on the second row after the alkali metals, and include beryllium, magnesium and calcium, and they have very low melting and boiling points, and are silvery and soft. The transition metals, there's scandium, silver, copper and gold. They are very good conductors of heat and electricity, so they're important in everyday life, and they're less reactive than alkali metals, because I think alkali metals are the most reactive elements. They have high densities, and they're also good for a lot of other things. So yeah, that's it. I will probably put this in the description just as a link to my Google Drive, and then you'll just be able to click the link and then it should download automatically. So yeah, hopefully you've learned something in this quick tutorial. I will do a second video where I explain the other parts, such as the halogens, and what else is there? There's halogens and other ones as well in the periodic table. So yeah, thanks for watching. See ya. Bye.